My name is Lindsey H. Carmichael. I'm 53 years old. I was born in Los Angeles, California, where I lived until I was 16. After that, I moved to Orange County, California. I've lived here since then. I work at Port City Tattoo in Santa Ana, and I've been tattooing for 29 years. I first became aware of tattoos through music. I used to see bands. People in the bands had tattoos. I used to see photographs of bands in skateboard magazines, and people in those bands had tattoos. That was where I first became aware of it. I once wrote Black Flag a letter when I was 15 years old in 1983 when Henry Rollins was a member of the band. One of the questions I asked was, who did his tattoos? And he said Rick Spellman. He gave me Rick Spellman's home phone number, which I called, funny story, and told him that when I was old enough, I wanted to get tattooed by him. Years upon years later, when I was trying to teach myself tattooing, I was put in touch with Rick. I went and talked to him, showed him my effort at trying to learn how to tattoo. I bought a machine from him, and the next day he called me up and asked if I needed a teacher, and he'd be willing to teach me. So, strangely enough, Henry Rollins gave me Rick's name, and then all that time later, Rick ended up teaching me to tattoo. So I can say that he's responsible, really, for where I'm at now. I really didn't have any backup plan after I started tattooing. I didn't think about what plan B would be, because plan A was learning to tattoo and doing tattoos for a living for the rest of my life, which is what I ended up doing. So no, I didn't really have any other idea about my future, except for I saw tattoos, and that was the end of that. My tattoo style is chiefly influenced by the first tattoos that I saw, and they had a look about them that was not polished, not clean. They looked rough, as tattoos should look, in my opinion. So I've always kind of shot to make the tattoos that I do look the way that, in my mind, are the way that they should look right. I'm still shooting for it, and I still don't really have a handle on doing that. I keep trying to do that, which is part of how you continue to grow. But I would say for sure that that's the main influence, and how my style has developed and what has influenced my style the most is those first tattoos that I saw on bands, and how they were kind of primitive, a little bit crude, but very striking, which to me is really what tattoos should be. I think that everyone should try to evolve their style, and I still feel like mine is evolving even all this time later. I feel like my focus on what I'm trying to achieve and what the look that I'm shooting for and the way that I want tattoos to look is something that you constantly have to make happen. If you get to a point where you think like, okay, my tattoos are looking good the way that they are, and I can just keep making them look like that, that to me seems kind of like death. You'd always need to try to move forward and evolve your style a little bit, and do the best that you can to stay current and to keep it within the guidelines of what you want to put out. Painting and drawing is as crucial to the job of a tattoo artist as tattooing itself. Painting flash, the way that I was shown, is an exact replica, an exact same movements as doing tattoos. You have a cap of black. It's usually the same black that you would use for a tattoo. You're going back and forth with the nib to line it. You have a cup of water that's a rinse cup that you're rinsing out your brushes with to do each color of paint after the black. In my case, what I like to do is outline the whole sheet, transfer it, which would be like a stencil on a tattoo. Then I do the outlines, which would be like doing the outline on a tattoo. Then I shade and color everything in the same order that I would the colors on a tattoo, so from dark to light. So it's, highly important to paint and stay in the motion of painting in the same way that you would stay in the motion back and forth with your hand from the brush to the color to the board or paper that you're working on, in the same way that you would be going back and forth from where your workstation is to the person's skin. I think that's just as important as tattooing itself, because it keeps your hand in the same motion. The only kind of art that I know about is tattoo art. I couldn't tell you about other artists in other fields, except for super well-known ones that the entire world knows about, like Andy Warhol or something like that. But other than, names that you've heard of before in the art world that's outside of tattooing, the only stuff that I know about is tattoo art, tattoos, and the art that's related to tattoos from tattoo artists. So I take inspiration from Bob Roberts, Ed Hardy, people like that are, to me, the best in the entire world, and they're the same, to a lot of people that are my age, from my generation, who've been tattooing a similar amount of time, that those are the particular artists that I look to as, the most inspiring, all the way up till right now. The relationship between the customer and me, the tattooer, has impacted my work and my life significantly since the invention of social media. Social media has given everyone a platform to know a lot more about tattoos, and that has changed my relationship with customers to try and make a balance between what they think they know and some of which they actually know that they've heard through social media or through television, and then what I know as someone who's been tattooing for a while, which is basically reality. And in the days when I first started, it was the customer was not knowledgeable about what we were doing, and I was. And there was a way that came across towards the customer that would never fly now. You have to be much more careful, and that's also because in the way that you speak to them, and that's also because of social media, because there's the invention of something called Yelp in America, where they can call you out or your business out for being rude to them, or if you came off in a certain way that you didn't even intend, that they interpret it as you not being very nice to them, you can get in trouble for that. So that relationship has been impacted and changed drastically in the last 30 years for me. The tattoo industry has changed since I started working, in the way that there are many, 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 many more tattooers in the world than there was when I started. And I mean, I didn't start in the 70s or 80s. I started in the 90s. And there was already kind of a lot of tattooers at that point. And people weren't stoked when the older tattooers were not stoked when people like me wanted to get into it, because in their mind, there was already too many tattooers in the world. I mean, I don't know if a lot of them are alive now or what they think now about the state of tattooing, because it's just so far gone from where it was when I started, which was 92, which is not a long time ago, really. In the grand scheme of things, 1992 is not that long ago. It's only 2021. But, the industry has changed in such a way that there are so many other tattooers in the world. There are so many other thousands and maybe millions, Jesus, I don't know, all over the world, that are tattooers that start now that are actually really good right off the bat, because the truth is there isn't any reason why they shouldn't be, with the constant 24-hour a day, every minute examples of how tattoos should be done and how they should look so that they look good in your skin. There isn't, the margin for people to learn is far smaller now for people to get good. So the thing that that I had to adapt to do was stay current with that stuff, because to the majority of customers who come in today they don't care or mind how long you've been tattooing. They don't care about that. They just want to know that they can get what they want, and you have to be able to move along with that and be able to do that, because there are 1,000 other tattooers that'll take your spot in a second. It's funny, I have a very close relationship with my coil machines. They're kind of like my friends. They're like some of my best friends. I know what they look like. I know them inside and out. And I've been looking at them every day for years upon years. So I'm very, very familiar with my coil machines. And I have a close relationship with them in the way that I would like with an actual living thing. It sounds strange, but when you spend as much fucking time as I have with coil tattoo machines, or tattoo machines in general, or tattoo equipment, even down to tubes, steel tubes, by the way, which I still use, you become very close with those instruments like they're your friends or family members. That's how they feel to me. The kinds of machines that I prefer, that I've been using the most lately, are from Scott Sylvia and Juan Puente, which are basically the same ones that I've been using all along. So yeah, those are my favorites, and they're my best friends. Tattooing means more to me now than it did when I started. And that's because I know more about it now, and I have a more mature relationship with my association to tattoos and what they mean to me. So they mean more. Tattooing and tattoos means more to me now than it did even when I started. I have the exact same amount of curiosity about things that are new. I have the same amount of curiosity in how tattoos look when they're done, how they're going to heal, maybe even more now, because I know more about it. And I guess the more you know about something, the deeper that the deeper you get connected to it. So as long as I'm doing it, my relationship with it gets stronger. My immediate plans for the future in regards to tattooing is, at the minute that it becomes okay for me to travel internationally, I'm going straight to London to work at Foot Street and to do the Brighton Tattoo Convention in August of this year, 2021, if it's possible, if it's okay with me having the vaccination and being able to travel internationally. That's my immediate plans for the future, is to go to Europe, because I love it there and would like to live there someday. I do know that the places that I will go for guest spots will definitely be, the main one is Elm Street Tattoo in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. That is the place where I go to work most often when I'm not at home here at Port City in Santa Ana, California, with my friends and co-workers here. The place that I go the most is to Elm Street in Dallas to work for Oliver Peck and Dean Williams, and I love going there 4 or 5 times every year to work, and that's definitely in my near future. I just got back from a trip to Dallas 2 days ago, and already making plans to go again.